Happy Monday. I have been working on a process about getting more organized recently, and I wanted to share it with you because I feel like it's really hard sometimes to be responsible for everything in your business. So, here's the thing that has worked for me, and I hope that it inspires you to think about your own process and that you can adapt parts of this to fit your personality, your style, your goals, all of those things. So, something I've started doing is an end of day wrap up. So, at the end of every day, I take a few minutes and just think about what did I do today? What did I achieve? What's still on my list? What am I excited to create? And if I could spend my time tomorrow invested in 1 to 3 activities that are still on the list, what would I be doing and how would I fit it into my day? And I kind of do this mini strategy session of picking my top 3 priorities in order of priority for the following day, the night before. This is helpful for a couple of reasons. Number one, when I get into my day, like today, I knew that the first thing on my list, it's pretty early in the morning here, the first thing on my list was to create this video for you. Actually, I'm creating quite a few of them in a row because for me, batching work, especially when it's like this, where it's on video, I'm already dressed, I'm ready to go, it just makes sense to record a few videos at a time. So I came up with my list of topics in advance. I wrote them down and I allocated an hour to sit down, record these videos, edit them, upload them, create cover images for them, get the emails prepped for you and all of those things so that I knew they would be done. Okay. So this is just one example. If you have ongoing actions, picking a time every day that you can consistently commit to doing those things, like every morning, first thing in the morning or at 10 a.m. or however you want to frame it, I post on Instagram or I post on Facebook or I schedule the post to go out for the week, whatever your process looks like. So just coming up with that end of day wrap up and then listing out those objectives in order and having a rough idea or plan for what that looks like. Another thing that I do is I allocate flex time every single day to my business so that if something takes a little longer or if something comes up that was unexpected, if I want to, I can fit it into my schedule. And this is important for a couple of reasons. Number one, it is the thing that has allowed me to get months ahead with my content creation because usually my flex time is truly flex time. So I get to use it however I like. And because I have a longer list of objectives, once I fulfill those 3 priority items, it's kind of a free for all. And I get to have fun and pick the one that I'm really feeling the most at the moment. So sometimes I just write a bunch of emails. Sometimes I write a bunch of podcast scripts or like rough outlines. Sometimes I record podcasts just in a row, one by one by one, until that time is exhausted. So just giving yourself more flexibility, but with that little bit of structure can create a big difference in terms of your productivity. So today I invite you to think about all the things that are on your list, to make a list if you don't have one potentially, and look at that and figure out, how do I want to tackle this? What would be the best way for me to really focus on these things and also measure how impactful they are for me? Because once I noticed this item never is a priority, it keeps slipping down the list. Why is that? So I'll give you a specific example. I do a LinkedIn newsletter every single week. And recently I was like, why does this keep going to the bottom of the list? Like it's never a priority. Well, the truth is it doesn't generate leads. And it's really just a replica of some of my podcast episodes that are just slightly edited. So for me, it's not very fun because I'm not creating anything new. So as I thought about this more, I thought, well, I have about 200 subscribers to that newsletter. So I don't just want to leave it and not do it ever again, but I do want to maybe take a step back and figure out how could I make this more enjoyable for me and more valuable for the people that are following me and subscribing to the newsletter. So I thought to myself, I'll make it monthly and then I will make it totally unique content. And that way I get to decide how I'm using that piece of content and maybe get better results versus just doing the same thing on repeat, expecting a different result. Like it's not producing leads. It's not fun for me. No wonder it's at the bottom of the priority list. But if I were to make it truly unique content, I would need to carve out time to do that, which means I'd have to make it monthly or at least bi-weekly. And so I thought to myself, well, anything bi-weekly is confusing for me. My ADHD brain can't take it. Like, is this an on week or an off week? I always get confused. So instead of that, I just decided I'll make it monthly and I'll make it really good content. And that way it will be an exciting piece of content for me to create. It will automatically become a priority because it has a monthly deadline, and it will be something that's even more valuable. So something that's not creating impact or income for me necessarily right now could end up being the thing that creates the most income for me this year, when I'm really being intentional about that long form content and how valuable it is for my audience. So all of this to say, get creative about your schedule this week. Figure out what are the opportunities to carve out time and be a little bit more structured and also maybe a little bit more flexible with your schedule to find that ideal balance for you of what is truly a priority and how do I make sure that things that keep dropping to the bottom of the list are seen and acknowledged by me, and then make some executive decisions about which ones of those get to stay and which ones of those need to change and which of those maybe need to go for now. So I hope this inspires you to take a fresh look at your schedule this week. It's a new day. It's a fresh start. Every day is, but especially the energy of a Monday. So I wish you good luck with this activity. I hope it's fun for you, and I can't wait to see you on this week's calls. Talk soon.